All right. Coming at you with episode 6 of the Workhorse Sports Podcast. This will be another short one. What we've been doing recently, if you haven't been with us for the past couple of weeks, Saturday, I'm just by myself putting out some college football picks. And then also this time around, we'll do a little Premier League action as well. And then tomorrow, I'll get with Jonathan. We'll have a longer podcast going over the results of college football for today, what we expect to happen for the NFL on Sunday, and then we'll also have some items regarding basketball, hockey, um, maybe some baseball rundown, or maybe UFC. It just depends on what we have going on for that weekend or week that just occurred or is coming up. So we'll put that stuff out weekly. It's been going relatively well so far. We're looking to keep it going. Just make sure, as always, like, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I don't know if Johnny got the TikTok going yet. If not, I might do some stuff on there either today or tomorrow. So, yeah, just be on the lookout for that stuff. Please like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us a little bit of a following going here if you like what you see. If you don't, then maybe don't like, but make a comment and we'll get a little more either creative or adjust to what everyone likes, and then maybe we'll earn that like or follow after that. So um without further ado, I will start. Actually, I wasn't going to do this. I will start with the Premier League because it is after 10. I was planning on being here before 10, and he just missed that shot. Got Leeds and Tottenham on the iPad right here that I'm watching. Um, shouldn't affect the way this goes. I didn't look at anything going on with Chelsea or Newcastle or any other games so far. So, or the Liverpool match. So starting off EPL, Liverpool, Southam on currently 10 a.m. at Anfield. Take the Reds. They need this win. Concerns I would have with taking the Reds for this one though is based on the players they have that might be looking to the World Cup. Couple of Brazilians, a couple of English players. I don't think they're going to do it, so I would still take the Reds. Southampton's not, they're not terrible, but they're not a great team. So yeah, go with Liverpool today at Anfield to close out this Premier League portion of the season with that World Cup break coming up here um, after this weekend. Tottenham and Leeds is going on right now. Leeds is up 1-0, 24th minute. So that's good to see. At the new White Hart Lane or whatever the fuck they're calling it now, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, real creative. So Leeds is fun. They're attacking. They're an enjoyable team to watch. And Tottenham are not fun to watch. They're slow. They play the counter. It's not an enjoyable brand of soccer to watch. They do win occasionally. Um, they're not they're not perfectly they're a decent top 6 Premier League team. But watching them is not enjoyable. Leeds plays a high risk, high reward type of game. So fuck. It's 1-1, which is not bad for my pick because I would say either don't bet this match or call it a draw. There's some arguing going right now. We'll see if they go to VAR for this. This is the kind of real time analysis that you don't get anywhere else. Just because I work in the morning and I wanted to get this out. We're gonna pause for a second and see. Might be some interference there. We'll see if they call that or not. See if they go to VAR. Harry Kane with his patented 2-hand shove at Tyler Adams in the box. That's not even the concern. Looks like Richarlison. I think it's Richarlison. Barreling over the keeper. Nothing yet. This could take another 5 minutes. So we'll keep moving on. Like I said, either don't play or go for the draw in this one. Draw's looking solid right now. Newcastle and Chelsea, 12 p.m. at St. James's Park. No VAR check there, so it's 1-1. 12 p.m. St. James's Park. Newcastle are a problem. They're a solid club, which they just have new ownership who is just funneling cash in, funneling cash in. And usually that takes a while to come to fruition. Not for them. They've are doing a lot better than anyone has expected. They're playing a Chelsea team who also had an owner who funneled in cash. Turns out to be a Russian oligarch, so that's not going well for them. And some of the players they still are funneling money in and still getting players, but they're not coming to fruition like they had in the past. So what I would say here is I would bet the draw on this one as well. They're pretty evenly matched clubs, which at the beginning of the season you might not have thought so. And Chelsea have been kind of out of form recently, so I would not expect them to come out there. They also have some international players who might be looking a little forward. So I'd go for the draw for that one. I probably would play the draw on that. Not as much as Tottenham and Leeds, where you would potentially just not bet it. I would play for the draw on United or Newcastle United and Chelsea. Last one of the day, Arsenal and Wolves. Wolverhampton Wanderers, 2:45 at Wolves. I think so. Before I started this, I did not, or before I took my notes and everything, I did not take into account the result of the Man City match. Man City, who is in second in the league, lost today to Brentford, which is a pretty big upset. And regardless of what Arsenal do today, they will finish this portion of the league top of the table. So that's massive for them. I don't think they take their foot off the gas, though. They haven't played that way in any of their cup competitions, whether it be Europa, Carabao, or whatever. And I don't see that going forward either. Last chance to kind of put out a good feel before you go into that World Cup break. I think that Mikel Arteta will get that going, and that'll be the play for them. So that's Premier League for today. Going to college football. So this slate is not as great as the past one, but it's still not terrible. We'll go in chronological order of the games that I play, and then I added one in there that I'm not going to play just because of the big names in the matchup. First off, noon from Fayetteville, Arkansas. We got Arkansas giving up 3 to LSU. Classic letdown spot. Arkansas is trying to get bowl eligible. LSU just beat Alabama. You got to go to Fayetteville. It's a rivalry game. I'm going to take Arkansas laying the points. The line is a little weird too. Usually someone in Arkansas or in LSU's position is not getting points. That tells you something. There's a reason why Arkansas has given up points. They're not a terrible team. They've had a lot of close games against some solid teams. They had that slip up last week. So just as LSU has that bounce back spot this week after a big Alabama win, Arkansas has a bounce back in the other direction, the positive direction, from a loss against a Liberty team that is one of the best Power 5 teams in the country. So Arkansas -3, I'm taking that one. Also at noon from Knoxville, Tennessee. Tennessee giving up 21 to Missouri. So taking Tennessee -21, big spread. Kind of sticking my neck out there, but Tennessee controls his own destiny right now. They need convincing wins. They need to show that they have the capacity to beat these teams that are ahead of them right now, and that the Georgia game was not necessarily indicative of how they are, and that if they were to get a second chance at a Georgia, that they would be able to maybe be a little more competitive than they were last week. Similarly, another concern area for this one is that Missouri doesn't lose games by large margins. They've played Georgia, Auburn, Florida, and Kentucky, lost all those games by a touchdown or less. Specifically, Georgia and Kentucky are ones where those were ranked teams, solid teams that they kept within check. They can do the same for Tennessee. I just don't know if they've seen an offense like Tennessee's, because I don't know if anyone's seen an offense like Tennessee's this year. Next up, noon, East Lansing, Michigan State giving up 10 to Rutgers. I am taking the Spartans in this one. Coming off the big win, they need to keep the positive momentum going, heading toward a potential bowl clinching game against Indiana next week. Rutgers is bad. MSU's defense looks night and day better than it was a few weeks ago. 10, it's a decent amount of points. It's one of those spreads where I think it's probably right on, but I foresee State coming out, playing solid, playing motivated, and finding a way to cover. I'd say it's probably 2 touchdowns, maybe 17 points that they end up winning by. So I'm taking State giving up 10 against Rutgers today. 3:30 game is the game that I'm not betting on. The noon and 7 p.m. seem like better options to me. And honestly, from my perspective, I already went over the Arsenal match. That's at 2:45. I'm not going to be investing a whole lot of my time watching a 3:30 game. Also, Grand Valley State plays Davenport today in a big GLIAC matchup to see if GVSU can stay top of the league, top in the country right now for Division II. So I'll be focused on that, focused on the Arsenal game. I will be watching this game, obviously, but just not enough where I want to be constantly staring at it when I have other things going on as well. Plus, it's a difficult game to pick. Alabama giving up 12 to Ole Miss in Oxford, Mississippi. No play here. I think Alabama wins. I think they win convincingly, but if they do so by winning by 9, 10, or 11, you're still not covering that spread. Ole Miss is a fraud. Only solid teams they played were Kentucky, who now looking back on it wasn't that great, and LSU beat them by 25 points. 12 is one of those spreads where it's too much to bet. Alabama's not the old Alabama. It's in Oxford, but Ole Miss isn't that great. So I'm not going to play this one. Sticking away from it. If I were to play it, I would probably take Alabama, but that's not something I'm willing to do. Also, we got the 7 p.m. slate. Looking at Oregon giving up 12 at Washington in Eugene. I'm taking Oregon by 1 billion. Washington's not great. Oregon playing home at night. You don't go into Eugene and win. You don't go into Eugene and win at night. And they have to win convincingly as well. So they can win the Pac-12, but that's not going to guarantee them a spot in. So Big Ten champ wins, they're in. Doesn't matter if it's Michigan or Ohio State. Potentially close game between those two. You might have the second team in there go. I still think they would take Oregon over them because they're a conference champion. But then you have the SEC champion. And then if for some reason it's not Georgia who goes undefeated, you got to take Georgia. Or if it is Georgia, then you might have to take Tennessee. And those are a little more difficult to say that Oregon would get in over them. Also factoring in there TCU. If TCU goes undefeated, then they're going to get in over Oregon. And Clemson, they're not dead yet either. What's the difference between Clemson's season if they have 1 loss and win the ACC, and Oregon's season if they have 1 loss and win in the Pac-12? It's too close for comfort. I think Oregon knows they need to win these games convincingly, and I don't think Washington's that great. So plus Oregon in conference play, it's hard to pick against them. Second game coming to you from Stark, Vegas. You got Mississippi State versus Georgia. Mississippi State's giving up 17, or they're getting 17, I'm sorry, in Starkville. It's too many points. Mississippi State's a solid team. It's a letdown spot for Georgia. And Georgia plays down to their competition. They've done it all year. They play up to their competition as well, too, obviously, from that Tennessee game. But playing Missouri, barely beating Missouri. They haven't had very many convincing, like, dominant wins this year. That Tennessee game was the most promising thing outside of that Oregon game in week 1, but that's so long ago that people kind of forget those games. This Mississippi State team is a solid team. It's just too many points. I don't know if Georgia can bounce back and then maybe fall behind by a few. They'll win, but if they win by 10, not covering. If they win by 14, not covering. If they win by 16, not covering. If they win by 17, you're pushing. So I'm taking the points. 17, Mississippi State versus Georgia. Last game, Austin, Texas. Texas has given up 17.5 to the undefeated TCU Horned Frogs. It pains me to say this, but I can't watch TCU in the college football playoff. And so from like a enjoyment level standpoint, I will bet Texas because I don't want to see TCU in there. Not that I want to see Texas win anything, but still. Texas is a very solid team. TCU is playing on borrowed time. Every game they've played recently, the opposing team's quarterback has just died for some reason. They end up not being healthy for that game beforehand, or during the game they get injured. TCU falls down by like 10 points. They find a way to sneak out the game by winning by 3 on a last second touchdown. Just it's not going to be consistent. They can't do it forever. I see Texas here covering as well. If they win, they're going to cover. If they don't win, then it's going to be close. If Texas wins, I think it's going to be pretty convincingly. My main concern with this one is the 0.5 points above the football number. 7.5 that's a tough one. If you can get it at 7, then the push is in play, which is nice. If you can get it at 6.5, then obviously that's even better. If you're using one of the sportsbook apps, maybe you buy yourself down to 7 or 6.5. 7.5 is always a rough number, but there's a reason for that. Because of the promise with Texas that's currently going on. So that's what I got for picks. College football, English Premier League. If you listen to this pretty close to it's 10:40 right now, I would definitely take a look at this Tottenham Leeds match, especially if you want to watch the World Cup. You got Aronson and Adams for the U.S. playing in the midfield for Leeds. You have Harry Kane, who is the striker for England. You got Hugo Lloris, who is the keeper for France, among other players that are out here right now. So definitely interesting match. Plus, like I said, it's tied right now, but it's been up and down. That's why it's been a little bit difficult to fully pay attention because you got just constant scoring chances going on in the corner over here. Definitely something you want to check out. Also, Arsenal 2:45. Need a break from college football. Take a watch at that too. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you need to do. If you like the content, let us know. If you want us to change it, let us know too. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Looking forward to that podcast tomorrow, and I will talk to you then.